Good afternoon. Gosh, my heart rate is pumping from that music. Thank you so much for joining us, and welcome to your favorite birder or a bird. Tonight, you're going to have a chance to play what I think is probably the greatest bird sound guessing game of the century with our very special guests, acclaimed author Amy Tan and renowned birder Christian Cooper. Virtuoso musician Jalan Crossland will also be joining us as our special musical guest. Closed captions are available, and let's please keep the chat friendly. Go ahead and introduce yourself. Let us know where you're calling in from. My name is Nick Bayard, and I am the executive director of BirdNote. BirdNote is an independent public media nonprofit that seeks to inspire people to care about the natural world and take steps to protect it. We do that through our daily 2-minute public radio show about birds and conservation issues that is heard across North America, now both in English and Spanish. We also produce the long-form podcast, Bring Birds Back, which covers important, timely issues related to bird conservation. We operate under the premise that when we love something, we feel moved to protect it. And our shows aim to cultivate joy, wonder, and love of birds in the natural world, which then translates to action. We're also very serious about doing our part to contribute to more diversity, equity, and inclusion in ornithology, birding, environmental conservation, and public media. This event is our annual fundraiser. So in addition to our bird sound guessing game, you'll have a chance to bid on nearly 100 amazing items in our virtual auction, which you can see here. Every bid helps advance our mission and ensure that we can continue to inspire people across the country and around the world to pay more attention to birds and take action to help them thrive. So please bid generously, dare I say greedily. Inspiring people to get involved in conservation is more important than ever. And because BirdNote reaches over 8 million people on a regular basis, we are well positioned to make a big difference. But we can only do it with your support. If you haven't had a chance, take a moment now and register on our Gala Bid auction page so that you can cast your bids during tonight's events. You can find that link in the chat or on our website. It's free to register, and you won't be charged for anything unless you win something you bid on. Let's take a look at, we already saw the page. Let's see. The auction is going to close at 8 p.m. Pacific time, 11 p.m. Eastern tonight. And if you're so inclined, we also are encouraging donations of any amount at birdnote.org. I want to thank our sponsors for this event: Cornell Lab of Ornithology's Bird Academy, Feather Friendly, Law Office of Chun T. Wright, Zeiss, and Zulu Nyala. I also want to thank the many generous people and organizations that donated items to our auction. And now it is my profound honor to introduce Amy Tan. Amy Tan is the acclaimed author of The Joy Luck Club and 5 other novels, all New York Times bestsellers, 2 memoirs, and 2 children's books. Many of her books have been adapted into film and stage productions. Most recently, she wrote and illustrated the nonfiction book, The Backyard Bird Chronicles, a witty account of birding, nature, and the beauty around us that hides in plain sight. It's a gorgeous volume, and you have to pick it up. She's the recipient of many awards, and she serves on the boards of American Bird Conservancy, the National Poetry Series, and the Community of Writers. Amy, thank you so much for being here.
Great to be here.
And now please allow me to introduce our second very special guest, Christian Cooper. Christian is the Emmy Award-winning host of the National Geographic series Extraordinary Birder with Christian Cooper, author of New York Times bestselling memoir, Better Living Through Birding. You got to pick it up. It's an excellent book. He served as president of the Harvard Ornithological Club in his college days and as a vice president of New York City Bird Alliance, where he advocates for greater, safer access to green spaces for all, with a focus on outreach to youth in underserved communities. He also has a children's book coming out early next year. Welcome, Christian, and thanks so much for being here.
Hi, everybody.
So before we get started, would you both mind telling us a bit about your recent work? Amy, could I start with you? Would you just tell us a little bit about how this book came about?
That book started in around 2016 when there was a lot of racism that broke out, especially against Asians, a kind of racism I had not experienced before. And out of despair, I needed to do something to rebalance my life. And I went out into nature and started learning how to draw. And pretty soon it was looking at birds in my backyard. and all the miraculous things that birds do. So it's a book about their behavior, my musings on that, my feelings of the day. And it never was supposed to be a published book. It was supposed to be a private journal, hence the rather candid ways in which I describe what I'm seeing.
Well, it's a true delight, and the drawings are stunning. And I learned a new term from you in this book, pencil miles. Will you tell us about what miles are?
That is a term that's used by John Muir Laws, who was the one who taught the workshops where I learned to draw birds. And basically, it's the idea that, yes, you can draw a bird if you put in the pencil miles. You learn certain techniques to draw and then practice. And when you look at the drawings in the book, everybody says you're so talented. Well, that's talent came from thousands of hours of practice. Every single bird that I draw, I probably drawn at least 1,000 times.
Wow. Well, it's really stunning, and I hope everybody picks up a copy. You can actually pick up a few copies personalized on our auction page. And Chris, would you tell us about the children's book you have coming up?
Sure. It's called The Urban Owls. It's published by Little Brown, and it'll be coming out in February. And it talks about some of the celebrity owls that have shown up in New York City. And people have such a strong reaction when you find an owl in the middle of New York, because they're kind of ambassadors from another world. You know, they live in this nocturnal realm, and everybody knows that owls exist, but you so rarely get to see them. And then all of a sudden, in the middle of this most urban of places, there's this ambassador from the nighttime world. And so they're fascinating. And we talk about some of the celebrity owls that got attention, and use that as a window into talking about owls in general and some of their attributes and how we can help them.
That's beautiful. Can we pre-order it or not yet?
Oh, that's a good question. You told me you were going to ask that. I'd look it up and tell you. I don't know, but check it out. And if you can, please do pre-order it.
Okay, great. Well, looking forward to that. We're going to pick up a copy for our house for sure. So I'm excited about this guessing game, and thank you for being willing to do something kind of goofy with us today. So for everybody listening, Chris and Amy have pre-recorded bird imitations, and we've peppered those in throughout a mix of real bird sounds. And we've got 12 we're going to show you, 12 bird sounds along with a picture of the bird. And you can get 1 point per sound. And so a total of 12 points. And the way it works is we're gonna show a bird, play the sound, and you have to guess, is that the real bird? Is that Amy Tan? Or is that Christian Cooper? And there's one right answer, and you get it right, you get a point. And so I have no idea how this is going to go, or if people are going to do well or just fail miserably. Amy, how are you feeling about?
I'm going to be humiliated.
I don't know. I don't think so. I was really impressed.
Okay. Well, my birds have not been impressed. They told me they thought I did a terrible job. So I'm going to have to redeem myself to them and throw out some extra worms or something.
I'm sure they'll appreciate it. Chris, how are you feeling?
Confident and triumphant.
And now you know why we have such a good time birding together.
Yeah.
Which we can bid on.
Yes. We have a great time when we go birding together. So come join us.
Yeah, if you're on the auction page, the very first item is birding in Central Park with our two special guests in the spring. So, yes. Should we get going with the game?
Let's do it.
We're gonna do six sounds now. We'll take a quick break and then come back for another 6. So let's bring up the first bird. Oh, wait, one second. Sorry. So don't put it in the chat. Just keep it to yourself. And then what we're going to do is we're going to put up a poll, and you put your guess in the poll so we can see how people guess and how they did. Okay, here we go. Sorry about that. write down your answer if you're keeping track at home. There should be a poll coming up here in a minute. Give it a second. Okay. Okay, give it a few more seconds and then we'll close it out. Can you all see the results? Okay, almost everyone thinks it's Christian. And Cynthia, no guesses in the chat. Okay, let's reveal the answer. It was Amy Tan.
All right.
Nice work. So Amy, tell us about learning that call. You did it pretty well from scratch.
Well, I actually have had great horned owls living in our yard every day for about 8 months. And now they still come back, but they're off nesting somewhere else or courting and nesting somewhere else. But I used to hear this all the time, and I would sometimes call back to them when they were awake. They just glared at me. And I think they were just telling me that I sounded like somebody who was not a native speaker of English, and that I was trying very hard, but they appreciated the sincerity of my attempt.
That's very sweet. All right, should we ready for the next bird? Okay. Bergenus hawk. All right, here comes the poll. Guesses are coming in. Give it about 3 more seconds, and then we'll share the results here. Okay, 82% think it's a real bird. 13% think Kristen Cooper. 5% think Amy Tan. Let's reveal the result. It's a real bird.
I don't know, Amy, the people aren't showing a lot of confidence in your ability to do these birds. I'm like,
I know. Well, I like to slow play them, you know.
You got
Wait until they hear me do a Buick's Wren, boy. No, I'm joking. I don't think I do a Buick's Wren. If there's a Buick's Wren, I'm sorry, I wasn't giving an answer away.
That would be pretty impressive.
That would be very impressive, actually. Yes.
Okay, next bird. What do we have next? The Anna's hummingbird. Here we go. Oh. Coming in heavy for you, Chris. Give it a few more seconds here. Okay, we're going to end it now. And there are the results. 51% think Chris, 30% think Amy, 19% think it's a real bird. So what is this sound? It's Amy Tan. And you have a pretty special relationship with the Anna's hummingbird, right? Right, Amy?
I do. I learned to do that call. There are many different sounds that the Anna's hummingbird makes, including that very staticky, clicky sound. But this particular sound that I was making is one that I used to hear, and then I'd imitate it, mostly the intonation pattern of it. And it was sufficient for that Anna's hummingbird to come over to figure out who I was or who was making this sound. And eventually I would lure it to my hand and it would eat out of my hand. So I sort of trained, I don't do this anymore, but at the time I sort of trained or habituated the birds to come to me whenever I made produce that sound, because they would know that there would be a feeder in my hand for them.
Wow. Need to work on that. We have lots of Anna's hummingbirds up here in Tacoma, Washington. So I can borrow from your bag of tricks. Great. Nice work. Okay, let's see what we have next.
Syrup, 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 syrup.
Okay, let's see what you think. Give it about 3 more seconds. And we'll end the poll. Okay, people are pretty confident this is you, Chris.
Hmm.
We'll see. Is it? It is.
It's so funny hearing it played back. I'm like, oh dear God, as if I could possibly do that sound without a steering.
To do any warbler. Wow. That was pretty good, though. I thought it was great.
Maybe if you sped it up to like 6 times that speed, it would like approximate the sound.
We're going to use that as playback when we go to Central Park together.
To scare all the birds away.
It'll scare. They're going to come charging at us like, who's making fun of us?
So Karen says she's gotten every answer wrong. So we're doing a good job.
Good. Excellent.
Great. Okay. All right. Let's hear this sound. Okay, make your choice. And Danielle asked if there's a place we can hear the real bird sounds that were imitated. All About Birds is a good place to go. Cornell Lab of Ornithology. There's the Macaulay Library. There's lots of great places you can find the sounds. Okay, let's end the poll. And 84% think this is a real bird. Maybe not what I would have guessed. But what's the answer? It's a real bird. So finally, I think people had the idea on that one. Okay, let's do one more before our break, and then we'll come back for the second round. Red-winged blackbird.
Okay. Okay. Conquer. Okay. Conquer.
I'm holding it together here. I am, I promise. Okay. 94%. Thank you, Krista Cooper. Is that is that what we expected? Oh, let's see
I'm
if
never
that's
doing bird
correct.
calls again.
Chris, that was great. That was brave.
It's Emmy Award winner, Christian Cooper.
Yeah,
Extraordinary birder,
but notice
Christian
it's not a
Cooper.
Grammy Award.
Oh, that was great.
All right. Well, thank you. We are going to take a quick break from this lovely game. Amy and Chris, please stick around. We're going to bring you back in about 5 or 10 minutes. And in the meantime, I'm going to compose myself, and we're going to bring BirdNote board member onto the screen. Ebony Boady has offered to walk us through some of the amazing items we have up for bid in our auction. So welcome, Ebony. And
Hi. Hi, Nick. Hi, everyone. Wow, it is so wonderful to see so much action happening in the chat and all across the country. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And I was on mute and I was disappointed that I couldn't vote. I tried, but clearly I was not allowed to. And what an amazing game. That was super fun. I am Ebony Boady. And I am on the board of directors, as Nick just noted. And I am on the board of BirdNote because birds bring me joy, their beauty, and their sound. And I'm an aspiring birder. And so selfishly, I also believe that being on the board of BirdNote will help me to continue to learn more and more. And I've already learned quite a bit in my first year with the board of directors. And I really believe in the power and impact of storytelling. And so BirdNote really brings those things together quite wonderfully. Hence our joining together today. I am joining you from the East Coast. I am in Richmond, Virginia, and just really glad to be here with everybody today. All right, so let's get to it. We want to showcase some wonderful items. I'm going to be talking through 4 options for us tonight. I will also say my career has been in fundraising. And so I cannot start the items without saying we have a serious goal tonight. We want to beat last year's goal. We raised about $40,000 last year. We are aiming to raise $50,000 this year, and we're going to do it because you're going to help us do it. All this enthusiasm is going to manifest into dollars and cents tonight. And before we get off of this screen together, we're going to hit $50,000 or more. You're going to help us make that happen. Last time I checked, we were at about halfway there, and we need to ratchet it up. So let's get it going. Make sure you're registered. Nick mentioned at the beginning, if you're not registered, take a moment now, stop, go do the thing, because the bidding closes today. So you will need to make quick decisions and commitment to making this a success tonight. And also you have an opportunity to win some really amazing things. Thank you, Jessica, for dropping that in the chat. Okay, so here we are. First up, we want to talk about a one-of-a-kind art package we're calling Wall of Birds package. The winner of this package will receive the original study of the Limpkin. That's part of Jane Kim's historical Wall of Birds mural at the Cornell Lab of Ornithology. Likened to an Avian Sistine Chapel by Audubon magazine, the 2,800 square foot mural took 2.5 years. Hold on, let's scroll back up to that for a second, because the feature is the piece, right? 2,800 square foot mural took 2.5 years to create. And it showcases the world's 243 families of birds. This graphite study was used as a guide to paint the final version on the mural. If you win this package, you'll receive the original sketch, and it's a signed copy of Miss Kim's book about this mural, and an online course from Jane Kim on how to paint birds. I know Amy was just talking about drawing birds and how it's really a matter of putting in the time or the miles. And so this is an opportunity to do that when it comes to paint. So it's really 3 in 1 that you are winning tonight. Awesome, Joyce. We see that you have the book. You have the course and the book. Wonderful. Where are bids? Do we have a minute? Do we have an initial bid for this item yet?
I think people are still deciding.
Still
Not yet.
deciding. Okay.
Hopefully soon.
Hopefully soon. Oh, I just saw Aaron said they're going to need a new house. Fair. You can get creative about where to put it, or you can gift it. The holidays are upon us. Remember that every bid will help BirdNote tell more stories about birds that inspire people to care about the natural world and get involved in conservation efforts in their communities. Yes, we can drop the link. Jessica, could you put the link again for registration in the chat? Shelly, if you're not sure if you registered, I bet if you click that link, you will find out. I can describe it again. I will drop a few descriptors. But this is a one-of-a-kind art package. It's called the Wall of Birds package. The winner receives the original graphite study. They also win the original sketch and a signed copy of Miss Kim's book about the mural, as well as an online course from Jane Kim on how to paint birds. It's 2,800. It's a 2,800 square foot mural that took 2.5 years to create. It features 243 families of birds and was used, the final version, to create a very special mural.
Ebony, I see somebody in the chat, I think referenced that the mural itself is part of this item. I just want to make sure people know that the mural is staying at Ithaca at the Cornell Lab of Ornithology. This is your chance to own a piece of the wall in a manner of speaking by owning the original drawing that the artist used to put the limpkin on the wall by making a stencil that created the limpkin that's right by the door there. So you don't have to worry about 2,800 square foot area. That's what you get, that drawing right there.
That's a very important distinction. Thank you. And Christian, no, they're not bidding on the mural. I think it would probably start at much higher than 1,000 if I had to guess. Okay, shall we move on to the next item?
Perfect.
Okay. Okay, so next up. Yeah, I see some hearts and some activity here happening. Next up, I'd like to let people know that we have some phenomenal books for auction, including this personalized and autographed copy of Amy Tan's new book, which we just talked about, Backyard Bird Chronicles. This is an incredible gift for yourself or for a special someone in your life. Looks like the next minimum bid is I've got a couple things going on. Nick, what's the next minimum bid?
Looks like 125.
125.
It's a steal.
Thank you. But of course, it's hard to put a price on such a beautiful book. Again, with it being personalized, and it's truly priceless. So we want to make sure that we get those bids in to kick this up a little bit more. Okay. Next item. Okay. So this includes two items, two very special owls. If you attended last year's auction, you might recall a bird drawing battle between David Sibley and H. John Benjamin. Well, they're back at it for round 2 of the competition, each with their own personal original owl drawings. And David Sibley donated a great horned owl study. He completed it in Big Bend, Texas, back in 1987. And H. John Benjamin submitted a great piece that he titled Owl with Anarchy Tank Top. That's quite the name. These two are must-have items. And I'm told there's going to be a lot of attention paid to these drawings and what brings in the highest bid because, you know, there's like intense public interest and also the whole rivalry thing, which is apparently very brutal. So we want to make sure that people bid on their favorite so it can be very clear who's won. All right. And then finally, we want to take a moment to share tonight that you can bid on an opportunity to have your name or a loved one's name recognized on the National Public Radio airwaves by sponsoring your own personal BirdNote daily episode. And there are 10 species up for grabs. So Nick, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that might mean that there's 10 episodes that could be bid on. Is that right? See a head
That's
shake.
right.
Okay.
So if you really love one of these birds, or if you know somebody who does or would like to have a BirdNote Daily episode dedicated to them, you can dedicate an episode to a loved one or have your own name read out on public radio airwaves and over podcast to our 8.5 million estimated listeners.
Wow. There's 10 species up for grabs. And looks like there's still species waiting to be claimed. So if you win one of these, like you just mentioned, you have an opportunity to personalize a dedication and it will be heard amongst many, many, many people, 8.5 million regular listeners. So a lot of reach there, a lot of impact, and an opportunity to really provide a personalized dedication or gift for someone that you love in your life, love, or appreciate.
And it's a great deal because a lot goes into creating a BirdNote Daily episode. It cost us about $2,500 all in for the writing, the editing, the fact checking, the production, the sound sourcing, distribution. And so, if you're so inclined to even bid higher than the opening bid, we would appreciate it.
Awesome. Thank you. Well, thank you for all your bids. We're going to keep it going. We have a lot more in store here in the next bit, so we want to skip on ahead.
Thanks so much, Ebony. We appreciate you. Okay, are we ready for round 2 of our game? Let's bring Chris and Amy back. And I wonder if our audience is going to be a little bit better this time now that they've had a chance to hear your skills. Yes. Okay. Well, let's go ahead. I believe we've got a barred owl coming up. Okay, here comes the poll. Tell us what you think. All right, 2 more seconds here. And 62% think it's you, Chris. Did they do a good job?
And I thought I had this one down, damn it.
They got you.
They have my number now. And I have to say, that's one of my favorites because it's anyone who listens to BirdNote regularly knows that is the sound that Harriet Tubman used to communicate when she was running the Underground Railroad. So,
Whoa.
Yeah, that's a special episode, really special episode.
Oh. Mm.
By Tasha Lawson. Check it out if you have a chance. Okay, what's next? Oh, you have a Jazzy's dog. Believes all the calls are real. Okay. Okay, let's bring out the bowl. Okay, Amy, these people either really know Stellar's Jays or they really know you, I think. What's the answer? Tell us about your Stellar's Jays, Amy.
Oh, did I do a Stellar's Day? Was that me?
That was you.
Oh my gosh. I have not had Stellars in my yard except for once. I had four of them, a set of them. But when I go walking around in the headlands in Marin County, I see them high in the trees. And like every jay, they have huge personalities and big voices. So I think they're a worthy bird to imitate. If only I had a syrinx like they do.
Well, I thought you did a great job. All right, what do we have next? The gadwall. Is it a gadwall? Is it Chris? Is it Amy? Last chance to cast a vote. Okay, most people think this is a gadwall. Some outliers thinking maybe it might be Chris. It's a gadwall. Nice work, everybody. Okay, yeah, these are gorgeous photos, and we have the photo credits in the corners so people can check out the photographers too, which are wonderful. Syrinx, sort of the bird equivalent of a larynx, sits deeper down inside the body of the bird than the voice box on a human. Chris or Amy, anything else you want to share about a syrinx?
Yes, that
Well-
explains why my calls have not been accurate.
I had suggested to Chris that we do a syrinx sync, like a lip sync, and we just turn on the Cornell app or the Sibley's app, and we make our mouths open like a beak and make the sound. Thank you to the one person who thought that I was that bird, the last bird. There's no way I could make a sound like that. Thank you.
All right, what do we have next? The greater sage grouse. Okay, we've got a split vote on this one, it looks like. Only 62% think it's a real bird. Let's see what the answer is. It's a real bird.
Wow, fooled them, Chris. Very good.
I was great on that one.
You were. Excellent. It sounded kind of like a little air pocket in a slipper when you're walking, and it makes that really rude sound. Yeah, that was good.
What do we have next? California quail. Votes are coming in. Amy, I think we need to work on your poker face a little bit.
Can you see me? Can you actually see me?
We can.
Oh dear. Oh,
Most people
sorry.
got it right. It was Amy 10.
Sorry.
60%.
I didn't know you could see me. I'm just like cracking up here. No, I mean that was bad. I'm sure I had a cold or some kind of illness that day because it should sound more like it's my quails are very disappointed in me.
Well, I thought you did a great job. And hey, 34% thought it was Chris. So all right, we've got one more. So your last chance to get a point, the pileated woodpecker. Cast your votes. Okay, let's share the results. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
What do we think of these results?
I thought it was a wren tit. Oh, that was good.
Yeah, Chris,
Okay.
you got a straight face. Let's see what the answer is. Yes, people are getting good at this.
Yeah, they got us down. It's the sputtering at the end that you really got to master.
All right. Well, this has been so much fun. Someone in the chat said they could do this all day. I could too. I could do it all day and all night. But unfortunately, we only have 12 sounds, and I know Chris and Amy have lives to lead. So I just want to say thank you so much for taking the time to do this with us, being part of this, and just supporting BirdNote. It really means a lot.
And everybody bid. Everybody
bid. We're going to be having a lot of fun in Central Park because Chris is going to be using his fantastic bird calls to summon many warblers in May. And I will be there saying, line, I see it. And so you won't feel bad when you don't see a bird that is pointed out to you. I'm also going to be giving cards out to people who come to our walk in the park, and to everybody who gets a book, they will also get one card. So all for BirdNote. We love BirdNote. So
and there's lots of other fabulous things to bid on.
Yeah. Whoa, that Jane Kim study and the David Sibley study. Whoa, that is really cool. I mean, yeah.
Great. And
Great
listen out
stuff.
next year, we've got some BirdNote Daily episodes featuring Amy and Chris, not imitating birds, but talking about birds and their lives throughout the year next year, which we're excited about. We have an amazing musician coming up, so I don't want anyone to leave, but I do want to just say one more thank you to Chris and Amy. Really appreciate your time and your good spirit and humor, and we hope to see you again soon.
Great.
Okay. Gosh, my heart is full. That was so much fun. So at this point, we are going to tally up the scores and see how people did. And then we're going to send out some prizes. And I want you to please bear with us because we're a small team and it might take us a while to get back to folks. But if we're going to do a poll to see how many points you got on the quiz. And then from that, we're going to figure out how many prizes we can give out and how we're going to give the prizes out. So go ahead and fill out this poll. Enter your score, and this is all just on our system. All right, I'll give you 5 more seconds. 3, 2, 1. Okay, great. All right, so Thank you. All right. We had 5 people got 11. Okay, great. So, and 14 people got 10. Great. Okay. So if you got 10 or 11 right, what I'd like you to do is email your score to info@birdnote.org. Just email your score and your name to this email address. And within the next couple of weeks, we'll get back to you with your prize. Thanks so much for playing. And now what I want to do is introduce Chuni Wright, BirdNote board member for the past 5 years, really big supporter of what we do, and expert in the travel space, and head of the Chuni Wright Law Office, which is sponsoring this event, who's going to walk us through our great travel experiences we have up for bidding. Chuni.
Thank you, Nick, and hi, everyone. As Nick said, I'm Chuni Wright, and I've been on the board of BirdNote for almost 5 years. It's the time has really flown. I live in the suburbs of DC and Maryland, but I'm actually coming to you from New Orleans today. And it's great to see so many of you from all over the country participating in what's just been such a fun event. It's like one of my favorite events of the entire year. I personally support BirdNote because it brings the joy of birds to every single one of us, from avid birders to anyone who wants to know more about birds. I always tell people that BirdNote is not for like expert birders. It's really for all of us. And what I love about BirdNote is it really like hits us in our heart and inspires us to take action to protect the natural world. And today, I'm really excited to share some of the amazing life-enhancing travel experiences that you can win by bidding in today's auctions. I think we're going to show some of those in a moment. The travel items are at the very top of the auctions page. And I'll start by thanking Christian Cooper and Amy Tan for donating a spring bird walk with them in New York Central Park for a group of 12 people. This is, of course, a super unique once-in-a-life opportunity. Bids are coming in. I actually think I was outbid. And you won't want to miss out on trying to win this and hearing their bird calls in person. I just think it would be the funnest thing to go walking through Central Park with them. So please bid. And right now we're at, I think it's 4,200 is the bid. And the next bid amount is 4,450. But remember, you can divide this between 12 friends. So we encourage you to bid on this. There are also some safari trips, if you want to scroll to that. So we have 2 different 6-day safari trips for 2 people. One is to South Africa, and we have another one to Zimbabwe. And just imagine seeing animals like lions, elephants, giraffes, cheetahs, rhinos. I could keep going on, but really just hundreds of species of birds. I've done safaris before, and I have to say that some of the most magnificent birds that I've seen have been on safaris. And it's just wonderful to see them out in the wild, along with just magnificent creatures like the lions and the elephants, and really seeing how they all sort of interact together. So I know safaris are on a lot of bucket lists, and what better way to experience a safari than through an auction that will inspire more people to get involved in conservation efforts. So bid early and bid often on these 2 items. We have a bid on one of them, the one to Zimbabwe to Hwange National Park. And if you look at the actual value of these safaris, you could potentially get a good deal. We, of course, want you to bid, early, often, and high. But these are really, just a great opportunity to get really special safari experiences while supporting BirdNote. And maybe we can pop back to the South Africa one just for a second, and we can see where the bid is there. Okay. So the next minimum bid is $4,200, and we encourage you to bid on both of these safaris. Now, closer home, we have the VIP Owl Prowl, which is donated by the Silver Park Audubon Center in Seattle. And this is a chance to take 11 of your closest friends for a nighttime walk in search of owls, which is pretty cool. So species could include the barred owl, the great horned owl, the barn owl, and other nighttime creatures like bats. And your prowl will begin with a short presentation to learn about these amazing nocturnal predators, and the experience will end with a bonfire, music, and s'mores with a raptor handler and his live owls. So how fun does that sound? And currently the next minimum bid is, what is that, Nick? Sorry, it's a little small on my screen. Is
Looks like
$900. Okay.
900.
$900. So this is great. And for those of you that haven't been to Seward Park, this is a great opportunity to just really be in a special place to go, looking for owls. So next we have 2 other Washington State birding experiences that you can win tonight. The first is a guided spring birding trip for up to 10 people in Yakima Valley. And it's led by BirdNote board president Dan Moore and former BirdNote board member Adam Sedgley. And there you'll look for, it's absolutely stunning. And you'll look for raptors like golden eagles and prairie falcons that nest on cliff ledges and more. I've actually been on a birding trip with Dan, which is really like one of the funnest things ever. But I can attest to, he has incredible guiding and birding skills. You will just absolutely love a trip with Dan and Adam. We're also offering another Washington trip. This is the winter birding in Washington with former Chief Audubon scientist Thomas Bancroft. And Thomas teaches birding. He's birding. He's an expert, and this is just an amazing opportunity to really go and see migratory birds and with Thomas. So we encourage you to bid on this as well. And moving on, we have a few other trips, so you can take a look at those at the top of the page. Nick, do you have anything else to add on the trips?
Just share that the folks who won the bids on the trips last year all seem to have a great time. It's a great, fun thing to invite friends to. If you want to bid and invite, your closest friends to join you. And like Junie said, you can split it, and it becomes a really good deal. Some of these things, if you split the cost. So you have until 8 p.m. Pacific to bid. But again, like Junie said, bid early and bid often.
Yeah, absolutely. So I want to thank you for your bids tonight. And if you're enjoying this event and value the work of BirdNote the way I do, we would also ask that you consider setting up a reoccurring monthly or annual gift to BirdNote. It's really important to be aware that BirdNote is a completely independent public media nonprofit, meaning we rely on listener support to continue providing all of our shows for free to radio stations across North America to inspire the next generation of conservationists. So we really rely on you all and are super grateful for your support. So I just want to close by saying thank you for all of your support, and I'll turn it back to you, Nick. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Junie. And safe travels. Okay, great. Well, let me get back to my notes here. All right. So now we have a really special feature for you toward the end of the event. I'm really pleased to be able to introduce one of my favorite all-time musicians from 10 Sleep, Wyoming, Jalan Crossland. There he is. He's a singer, songwriter, banjoist, and guitarist who's been described as an endemic Wyoming treasure and one of the finest guitarists in America. If you ever have a chance to see him perform live, run and do it. And you're about to find out why. But I want to say thank you, Jalan, for joining us. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me. Honored to participate.
And you're in Cheyenne, is that right? Moment?
Yeah. My girlfriend and her family lives down here, so we are in their living room right now, having a birthday party. As a matter of fact, they're all in the background with all of us. So,
oh, okay.
Music and cocktails.
And you've got a meadowlark right there next to you. Is that right?
Yeah, he's a wood carved meadowlark. It's kind of cool. Billy Brown carved him.
Mhm.
He's kind of neat. There's enough light to see him
Great.
anywhere. Yeah,
Yeah,
it was a good job.
great. And so you're gonna play a tune for us inspired by the meadowlark, is that right?
Pardon?
You're gonna play a tune for us inspired by the meadowlark?
Yeah, yeah, in Wyoming where the winters are interminably long, one of our just favorite sounds is the meadowlark in the springtime because it tells us that we survived another winter and summer's on its way, and it's just such a happy sound. And my mom and I, we'd always used to call each other whenever either one of us heard the first meadowlark. I heard it today, it's springtime. And so I wrote a song called Meadowlark Song.
Great. Well, thanks so much for taking time away from the birthday party, and I'll go off screen so you can take it away.
All right. Hey, little meadowlark, where have you gone? Where, oh, where have you been so long? The summer's come, and I waited all winter just to hear your song. All the pretty country girls begin to kneel in the sunshine, so in the gardens in, wearing wildflower perfume. I've waited all winter for spring again. And rain, let it rain, wash away the bitter snow. Them bluebirds can't rest in my tree. I waited all winter for the spring again. Sing a happy song all day long, sing in the blue sky and the shining sun. The summer's come, and I waited all winter just to hear your song. Hey, little meadowlark, where have you gone? Where, oh, where have you been so long? The summer's come, and I waited all winter. And I waited all winter just to hear your song. I'm still on? Oh, hi.
I don't know if you can see all the claps and the hearts that are coming up.
I see little hearts floating up the screen.
Yeah, that's
Thank you guys.
love coming from all over the country.
That's neat.
So thank you so much. That was just amazing.
Thank you. You guys enjoy the rest of the evening.
Thank you, and enjoy the birthday party. Thanks
All
thanks
right.
again for calling in. Okay, we have one more item for you. And I want to bring to the screen BirdNote's Development Director, Jessica Franz. And what we're going to do is, hi, Jessica, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. Thanks for having me. I'm just loving this. You couldn't see me during all this time, but I've been tearing up. I've been cracking up so loud at Chris and Amy's bird impersonations. That was great.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. How'd you do on the quiz? Did you take the quiz?
Terrible. I was too busy laughing.
Yeah, I think a lot of us were.
Yeah.
Well, this is the time of the night when we go back to the auction page. And what we're going to do is, if you've ever been to a live auction, there's usually an auctioneer in the middle of the room. There's loud music pumping. We wanted to pump some live music in, but there's copyright issues and it's hard to hear and it's a whole big thing. So there's no music. That was the music. So imagine we've got, Eye of the Tiger or something playing in the background, and we want to walk you through the different levels of giving, starting at $25 gifts and what those gifts can accomplish. And then we're going to close out after this. And I'll turn it over to you, Jessica, to get us started.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm happy to talk about BirdNote, and I'll just introduce myself a little bit. I'm BirdNote's development director. I'm based out of Asheville, North Carolina. Been with the team for about 4.5 years, and being on the fundraising side, kind of behind the scenes of BirdNote, I have the pleasure of interacting with donors on a daily basis. More than 90% of BirdNote's funding comes from listeners and partners that support the show because they love birds, care about conservation issues. So really, listener support, your support, in any way that you can do that, whether it's through bidding on an item or giving a cash gift or a gift of stock or whatever works for you, that is the lifeblood. It's what makes BirdNote possible. So starting at the $25 level in the auction platform there, you can make a donation that helps ensure that BirdNote can continue to inspire people to care about birds and take steps to protect the environment and birds that we all love and cherish. And Chuny mentioned it earlier. One thing that we hear a lot is a little bit of confusion about, oh, I support my NPR station, so that means I support BirdNote. It's awesome that you support your local NPR station. You hear it there, and you consider it part of that programming. But what is the fact is that BirdNote is actually an independent nonprofit. We rely on listener support directly to produce the stories and share them with those radio stations. So the radio stations aren't paying anything for that programming. We're giving it away for free, but we have to have income and support from the listeners to continue to keep that thing going. So I hope that you will join us by making a contribution. And Nick, I'll kick it over to you. You can tell us a little bit more about what those dollars can do.
Sure. Thanks, Jessica. Yeah. So if you can give at any level, we any amount of support helps us inspire more people to care about the natural world and take steps to protect it. If it's $5, if it's $10, you can donate anytime at our website, birdnote.org. We've got these levels here, though, because we want to sort of give you a sense of what different things accomplish. So let's move on to the $100 BirdNote Builders level. And I mentioned before that a lot goes into producing a BirdNote daily episode, and even more goes into producing our long form episodes. We've got a hardworking production team, different parts of the country that work together over Zoom, and a lot of really talented independent contributors that help us create inspiring stories and share them with people and inspire them to care about birds and take steps to protect them. So if, for example, if you heard 100 BirdNote shows in a year, giving a $100 gift is like basically giving $1 per episode. And we've heard from a lot of community and college radio stations that if we weren't able to provide BirdNote for free, they would have to pull it from the air. So your contribution actually helps us get BirdNote to communities that wouldn't otherwise hear it. Because we're able to provide it to stations for free, stations that are smaller, that don't have a budget for independent programming. And it's what's helped us grow our listenership to an estimated 8 million radio listeners, and hopefully many more. So your support today can help us sustain and even grow that number. So thanks for anyone who's willing to give at this level. And I'll pass it over back to you, Jessica.
Thanks, Nick. And I just want to mention that while you're listening to us talk about how BirdNote is made and how it's made possible, and thanking everyone for their support, the auction is still open. So be over there making your bids. I can see I've got a couple of tabs open here. I can see bids on different items are continuing to come in. There's some really special things there and things at all levels, entry levels, price points, that everybody should be able to find something there. So if $100 is in your budget, maybe $500 is in your budget. $500 gift goes a long way to making BirdNote possible. Nick mentioned earlier today that, or earlier in this event, that each episode of BirdNote Daily, the 2-minute show that we all love, costs about $2,500 to make, and we make a lot of those every year, a couple hundred of them every year. So a gift of $500 could really go a long way. And if you listen to BirdNote's podcasts, you'll notice that you don't hear a whole lot of ads when you hear it. When you do hear an ad, it's almost always from an organization that has a similar mission to BirdNote, some organization that's focused on bird conservation or nature experiences, something that is really in keeping with those of us that know that environmental needs and conservation issues are at the forefront and our love and care for the environment. So donating at the $500 level will help us continue to keep our advertising to a minimal and keep our advertising with those like-minded organizations and keep those podcasts coming. I will also add that when we look at the dashboard of where the podcasts are being listened to, the geography of where people download those podcasts, we can see pretty much every country and sovereign territory. And we also have seen little bumps of listening ship out in the middle of the ocean. So there's people out there on ships listening to BirdNote, people listening to BirdNote everywhere, all around the world. It's really something that unites us, and we want to be able to keep that going. So thank you to those of you that are able to make an investment in BirdNote at this level.
Okay, yes, thank you. And let's take a look at the $2,500 level. This is an important level. This is the full cost of really what it takes to produce and get a BirdNote Daily episode out into the world. Includes writing, editing, fact checking, sound sourcing, sound design, final mixing, photo sourcing, and distribution and marketing to stations, and distribution and marketing of the podcast. So if it is in your budget, if you're thinking of end of year philanthropy and you want to give, whether it's like Jessica said, a gift of cash, a gift of stock, even if you wanted to split this out into a couple of different payments over time, it would make a big difference. And a donor at this level wrote in, and I'll just share the quotation: "The biggest smile happens when BirdNote comes on NPR. Words cannot describe how happy it makes me feel." And that's how I've been feeling during this event. I don't know about you, but I mean, it's so fun to hear the bird imitation game and to hear Jalan Crossland play live from the living room in Cheyenne, Wyoming. And I think it's reflective of what we try to create for our listeners across the country. And BirdNote is, a lot of times it's a surprise. People aren't expecting it. Listening to the news, they're hearing about things that are maybe causing anxiety. And then all of a sudden, for 2 minutes, they get to be immersed in the lives of birds.
Yes.
And just think about the sort of the cumulative impact of so many people experiencing that is a big deal. So thank you for considering the avian ally level.
Thanks, Nick. And that's actually a great segue. I'm going to bump us up to the $10,000 level, which is truly a leadership level of support for BirdNote. And Nick, you mentioned the power of collective action. So all of us kind of tuning in wherever we are, taking that moment of respite from the day-to-day grind and the news cycle and our to-do lists and whatnot, and getting that moment to be with birds and to be with BirdNote and getting sort of a reset there. If those of you who have been listening for a while, you may have recall that in January of this year, we kicked off a 3-year goal to inspire 1 million people to take action to help birds. And our goal is that half of those will be Gen Z or younger, so age 25 or younger, really getting that next generation involved. But a gift at the $10,000 level or more, or any level, is empowering that work behind the scenes. It really is the catalyst behind being able to make the shows. We reach an audience of about 8.5 million people between the radio broadcast on hundreds of radio stations, and then the podcast, of course, reaching hundreds of thousands more all around the globe. It takes a mighty team behind the scenes to keep this thing going. And even events like this, putting the auction together, getting wonderful guests lined up and presented here for you today. BirdNote is a nonprofit, again, not powered by a radio station or corporate backing. We really rely on everyday listeners pooling their income together to make it possible. So if you can do $5 a month or if you can do a $10,000 gift right now, all of that is tax deductible, and all of it adds together to power the ship that is BirdNote.
Okay, I'm going to close it out here with the $25,000 level. And this is, definitely a leadership level. And we have a staff of about 9 folks. Our annual budget is about 1.2 million to produce and create everything that we do, including these events. So if it is in your budget to support us at this level, it would mean a great deal. I want to talk for just a minute about the hardworking and dedicated staff we have that work every day from their home offices, all of us in different parts of the country, to bring joyful, inspiring storytelling to you, whether you listen to us on podcast or on public radio, every day showing up and just working really hard on these shows. And at this level, you're supporting really what is the heart of what makes BirdNote happen, which is the staff. The vast majority of the budget is spent to basically pay the staff to do the great work that they do. And so we do need large gifts in addition to the small gifts to make the ship run. And so we encourage you to give at this level if you can. If you're considering giving at this level or higher, but don't want to do it tonight, please also get in touch with us if you want to talk about the impact of a gift of this size and what impact it can have on people who care about birds, on birds, and on the future. So please consider giving at this level. Please bid on anything that you see and like. And I want to just thank you for taking the time to be with us tonight. I'll turn it back to you, Jessica, for any final thoughts.
Thank you. And again, I just want to lead with thanks always. Thank you all for being here and hanging with us and bidding on all the items. I put a couple comments in the chat while you were talking, Nick. We've passed that 50% mark for our goal for tonight. So keep those bids coming. Every bid on those items, every donation that comes in gets us closer to that goal. End of year is a really important time for BirdNote in terms of our revenue. It helps us plan for the coming year. We've got to plan these shows in advance. It's not like somebody's just getting on the microphone that day and spouting out some bird facts. We've got to plan for those a couple of months in advance. So every gift that happens now makes it be able to keep the engine going and pumping those BirdNote daily episodes out. And then also I put some info in there. There's a link if you go to birdnote.org. We take other types of gifts as well, not just like cash, credit card, check, but if you are interested in leaving BirdNote in your legacy plan, or if you've got a donor advised fund or an IRA, something like that, we can talk with you about that too. We're happy to. You can get in touch with us at any time. And Nick, I know you want to say some more thanks, but thank you again, everyone, for joining us tonight. We really appreciate you listening to BirdNote and really appreciate you supporting it. So thank you.
Thanks so much, Jessica. And I just want to mention also that you have a few hours left to bid. And if you have someone you want to send the auction site to and say, hint, hint, there's this thing I've always wanted. Do you want to maybe, hey, get it for me for the holidays? You have that chance to do that for the next few hours. So to take advantage of that. I want to thank our sponsors one more time. The Cornell Lab of Ornithology's Bird Academy as our top sponsor this year. Really appreciate their support. Feather Friendly, Law Office of Chun T. Wright, Zeiss, and Zulu Nyala. I'm very grateful to our guests, Christian Cooper, Amy Tan, and Jalan Crossland, to our board members, Ebony Boydie, Junie Wright, and to the technical team that has made this event possible, Bibi Baksh-Pabian in particular. Thank you very much, Bibi, for all your help on this. Mark Bramhill and Jessica Franz. And with that, I will wish everyone good night and happy bidding.